welcome back. Our investigators returned from Tarrytown and planned for their final, we promise you, really is the final trip to the Juju house. With Lieutenant Poole and some loyal officers in tow, let's see what happens.
So last time, if you can remember, you broke into Juju House and you managed to completely destroy the door. You made your way through into the shop itself and duly conducted a search before entering the basement, where you found terrible, disturbing sight. 4 animated corpses, one of which was your not long deceased friend Jackson Elias. Lex tried to take some photos of these things. You, in a panic, fled Juju House and left them behind, exiting. Oh yeah, previously also you come across some more cultists that were there, but you let one of them go. In fact, you let 2 of them go. And you've now, after that, you left the art emporium in the middle of the night, armed with this horrific new knowledge, and also what you hoped to be sufficient evidence to take to Lieutenant Poole, at least at the Precinct 7A, to convince him to launch a raid upon this place. You drove to Tarrytown in the middle of the night, and then early in the morning had the photos developed. Fortunately, while several of the photos were fine, the ones that you really wanted, i.e. the one of Jackson Elias's corpse and the other animated corpses, didn't really come out. However, you decided to go to the precinct anyway and talk to Lieutenant Poole. And with what you have, and also the fact that the latest development came to light that the body of Jackson Elias has been stolen, you managed to convince Lieutenant Poole to launch a investigation on Juju House, and he said that he needed to make some arrangements and he would meet you at Juju House in 3 hours. So you then decided that the only thing that you needed to do was to go and get some food, which is where we pick things up. You're currently eating your breakfast at Joe's Diner across 6th Avenue from Bryant's Park, and a couple of blocks from Precinct 7A. You've been in the diner about 20 minutes or so, and it's going to be another kind of 2.5 hours or so before you need to go and meet Lieutenant Poole. You didn't have any other plans. Can I ask you all to make a spot hidden roll, please?
My breakfast is delicious.
It's an ordinary success for me.
Okay.
Ordinary success for Stanton too.
Okay, and Lex?
I can't see the table.
Okay.
Massive fail.
So Lex and Douglas obviously have the way you are sat with your kind of back to the window, so you can't really see much. But out on the street, Lex, no, not Lex. Who was it? Who made their roll successfully?
Jacob and Stanton.
Jacob and Stanton. You notice as you're eating your eggs, a cream-coloured Hudson Roadster that's parked across the street. Wouldn't normally be a problem and wouldn't normally even attract your attention, but you both spotted it parked outside Precinct 7A earlier as well. You kind of look at each other, look at the car. Yeah, it just seems a little bit of a coincidence that it was parked outside the police station when you went in, and now it's parked outside the diner that you're eating at, which is a few blocks away.
Is that the same car, Stanton?
Looks like it.
Is there anyone in it?
Can't quite see from here.
Lex, you kind of see what these two are looking out the window. You turn around, look over your shoulder out onto the street. You have a recollection of this cream-coloured Hudson Roadster being parked outside on West 137th Street as well yesterday evening when you were there.
Okay.
Obviously, you wouldn't have paid any attention at the time. There were other cars there too, but now that it seems to be of a point of interest,
That car's been tailing us today.
I'll turn around
Do you want to
and have a look.
find out who it is? Seems rather brazen.
The people in this. Right, I misunderstood. Is the people sitting in it now?
No. Well, you can't see anybody in it.
No.
Get some street urchin to let down the tyres.
Well, just
that-
watch and see if anybody gets in it.
Is that a
Yeah,
fairly standard car, or is it in terms of is it high end, low end?
It's kind of mid-range, really. It's small. It's smallish. It's not a family car. It's kind of a, but it's not. It's just the fact it's cream. It's not an unusual colour. It's convertible as well. So so the answer to your question is not. It's a fairly unusual car, but it's not a massively expensive one.
So, probably not one of Robson's or his henchmen.
It doesn't look like the full Model A's, that the police use, or
ones they might have privately.
well, it's difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's if
Speculating.
you're going to be tailing somebody, that is not a
No.
inconspicuous vehicle.
I wonder if it's the journalist.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was my thinking. It looks
Yeah.
like a woman's car.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
By that I mean it's got dents in it.
Extra editing for David.
The 20s. I'm allowed to be. Well, why don't we go for a drive? See if it follows us. Take a corner, stop, and we'll see.
Drive around and then stop again, and then the person who's got out can knock on the window.
It's going to be the journalist. Would be my money.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Go for a drive. See if we get followed.
So all four of you are going to go back out to your car, which is parked. Your Pontiac 6 hire car is parked on the other side of the road, just outside the diner.
Yeah, and we're killing time, so we'll just go for a drive and see who gets into the car and follows us.
Okay, who's driving, by the way?
Me.
That's Lex.
Lex, okay.
I'm just going to disappear for 2 seconds. I'll be back. I think I just heard the front door. Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Please continue without me.
I will be driving.
Okay, you all get outside, get into your Pontiac, and you pull off. What are you going to do, Lex? Just drive it and then drive around. Well, what's your plan?
I'm just formulating a plan. We were on 6th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, which street number did you say? I apologize.
Just by Bryant's Park. I can't remember the street number, but
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I know where that is. Midtown. So let's head up to 57th, 59th. Let's head up towards Central Park.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll head up towards Central Park, and then we'll.
So you're staying on the avenue.
We'll stay on 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
Head up to Central Park, then we'll turn right, and we'll head back down Park Avenue.
Okay, so heading up 6th Avenue, you haven't pulled off for more than a couple of seconds when you suddenly see you're looking in the mirror and you can see that in your wing mirror you can see that the cream roadster is following you up 6th Avenue.
Okay.
So there must have been somebody in the car, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to start up so quick.
Yeah. Who's sitting in the back?
I don't know who's in the front. So it would be normally I don't know what's your normal car seating order.
I think it'd probably be Stanton and Jacob in the back. So,
Okay.
I'll just say, I glance in the mirror and say, they're following. Have a good butcher. See if you can see who it is.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have a look.
I'll look back.
Okay, so are you going to look round in an I'm obviously looking round way, or are you going to try and look round in a kind of surreptitious way?
Try to do it surreptitiously.
I'll leave Stanton to it.
Just let one of you turn around. You mean basically? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can I get you to make a stealth roll, please, Stanton?
Or what we could do is we could be talking to each other, Jacob and Stanton talking to each other in the back, looking at each, and then I slightly moving my head a bit further to the right.
Okay. We'll make a spot hidden first.
But
you can giggle coquettishly and
throw my head back for a hard success.
Oh, okay. Okay. With the fact you have a hard success, means that you kind of flick your eyes back, and just as you do so, the light is dramatically improved as the car turns a corner. and you see a female form driving the car. In fact, your eyes are so keen that you can see that it's a female with dark hair.
Suspiciously recognisable.
It's difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult from this distance, but she definitely looks very much like Rebecca Shosenberg that you saw at the funeral the other day.
Okay, so understandable that it may be her following us, but interesting that she was staking out Fuji. Was that perhaps from her own investigations or from following us that evening?
It could be from following us. We've spent quite a lot of time there, haven't we?
I guess now is the time when we probably need to speak to her. She's going to be following us anyway, and even if we manage to lose her in the streets of Manhattan, where's she going to go? The place that she knew we were investigating. So it doesn't matter where we turn, the conversation resorts to being us. Should we speak to her or not?
Are you carrying?
I'll turn right at the very next west street that comes up and head back down Fifth. So I end up on the far side of Bryant Park.
Okay.
When we get back to Bryant Park, I'll pull up, and then we can decide if we're just going to get out and chat to her or not.
Okay. Okay. You do that. You pull up on the side of the road, and you can see that again, maybe about 50 yards back. She pulls in also on the same side of the road, back like a few cars back.
Well, unless we lose her, she's going to follow us and see the raid on Juju House, isn't she? So, do we want her to?
I don't know. What is the benefit for us to have all this in the papers?
Well, that's it. We don't really want it in the paper, but it's going to be in the papers one way or another. So if we can control this somehow.
The only way to control it really is going to be to reach an agreement with her, which would probably mean we're going to have to provide her with something.
Yeah.
I'm back.
We're being tailed by Rebecca Shosenberg, the journalist, and we're just discussing whether we should communicate with her before the raid on Juju House. If we don't lose her, she's going to follow us there anyway.
Well, we'll just tell her to stop following us. Just say there's no point in you following us. We know you're following us. So we're not going to go anywhere interesting. So stop wasting your time.
You've driven up 6th Avenue, you've gone across and back down 5th, and you've pulled in on the side of the road, and she's pulled in a few cars back, and you've just sat in the car now chatting about what you're going to do next.
And my concern is that she's quite likely to write things in the papers anyway. Whatever information she has on us or the investigation, she may well go ahead and write it anyway, which could compromise it. But
if she writes about us, well, we threatened to sue her. She's got no evidence. She's got nothing.
It's a bit too late though. Once it's the article's in print.
No, my point being is that she won't print because it won't pass any legal checks at the paper. Well, she worked for New York Times, doesn't she? Yeah, highly unlikely that they'd write something sensationalist, particularly given the nature of it, without having anything to back it up or corroborate it. Which is why she's following us.
Maybe what happens if she wants to get a story out there? I'm just thinking maybe she could give it to someone else for another paper. Why would you wouldn't give away your story? I was just thinking maybe if we do speak to her, she may have information we could use. She's certainly been investigated. Poor chap who was wrongly accused. But with her resistance, maybe we could control any stories that do get. The thing for her, obviously, is don't get in too deep because you could land yourself in mortal trouble. She must realise that. And she may find she's in mortal trouble before she realises. If she follows an avenue of investigation that we haven't seen, gets there to the wrong people first. It's just as I was saying earlier, everywhere we turn, she seems to be there. I think we're getting to the point where we may have to speak to her.
I think we do have to speak to her. The question is, are we going to go charm her, he says, looking at Jacob, or are we going to go scare her, he says, making sure his gun is loaded?
I'd much rather try and get her on side. If that fails, we could always revert to plan B, but we can't threaten her and then get her on side.
Well, I don't want anything to do with her, personally.
You may have information that would be useful. She's clearly been investigating this possibly longer than we have.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Well, ask her what she knows then. If she says, tell me what you know first, and so it doesn't work like that.
Alternatively, it may turn out that she knows a lot more about us than we realise. So she may have damaging information about us. So it could be useful for us to know that.
Why? What have you done?
I don't know.
Tried to poison people with aspirin.
You haven't taken anybody's shoes yet,
Yeah.
so
So yes, the two hardened criminals in the back there.
Crime,
Yeah.
crime of the century, that one.
So should we send in the shoe thief, the clock fixing shoe thief, to Charmer?
Yeah.
Although, in fairness, that did occur in a different country, different jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So you can't punish the poor man for his footwear crimes in the city of Manhattan, surely.
Well, are we going to
Unless-
talk to her?
Yeah. So I believe Jacob, maybe you have a word with her first. Can you remind me whose room was it, or whose accommodation was it where we found her calling card?
yours.
It's mine, wasn't it? It was my apartment.
Okay, so Jacob
But-
and Stanton, you go talk to her. And if it turns out that we need to threaten her, we'll send the miserable old cop and me.
But it was Douglas, I believe, she wanted to speak to. She referenced your hotel room number.
Yep.
Hmm.
Which is all the more reason I don't want to talk to her.
She may have overstepped the mark, I believe, on that one.
She referenced what? Sorry,
Douglas's hotel room number.
no, she
The
didn't.
card. Did she not?
She gave her card to Lex at the funeral.
She referenced the Hotel Chelsea, room 410, which is where you found
Hmm.
Elias's body.
Bit of a difference. That'd be a great place to stay to throw people off the scent there, Douglas.
Well, I imagine it's probably quite aromatic.
Douglas stays at the Times Square Hotel currently.
Very nice.
Is her car a 2-seater or a 4-seater?
It's 2-seater.
Perhaps take her into the park for a chat.
Well, shall Stanton and I go and speak to her?
Okay, so you're going to get out of the car
Mhm.
Yeah.
and wander back down the street towards her car, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, when you start walking down the sidewalk towards her car, and it looks like there's nobody in it, but actually as you get closer, you can see that she's kind of like laying back in the seat, so you can't really see her very well. But as you get closer, it becomes obvious that she's there. She kind of sits up by seeing you coming and starts messing about with something in the car, as if she was just fiddling about with something.
I'll lean
Kind
over and knock at the window.
She was turning her head the other way, and she kind of she looks round. Oh, fancy seeing you here.
Shosenberg, what a coincidence.
Yes, nice to see you again.
Well, it is. We seem to be seeing your car all over the place.
I'm sorry, you must be confused with somebody else.
No,
just
I'm
doing-
sure
I'm just,
we keep.
just doing a
We
bit of-
keep
Bit of
seems to
shopping.
be
that's all.
everywhere we go. We see your lovely car.
Oh well, I am a reporter. I have to get around a bit.
Perhaps we could talk.
Well, that would be nice. You all are quite evasive.
Would you like to talk here, or should we go and find somewhere else?
I don't mind really. He is fine.
Well, I'd quite like to know to begin with why you're so keen to track our movements.
You're kind of leaning into the car, so she gets out of the car and puts her overcoat on because it's obviously still really cold. And she wanders around the back of the car and to kind of meet you on the sidewalk. Call it professional curiosity, she says, throwing you a smile.
You
I
certainly
know
are.
you. I know what you. I know that you were responsible for killing Jackson's killers, and you seem to be quite interested in them. Like I said on the day at the funeral, I wanted to talk to you because I feel we have a common purpose, and maybe if we share what we know, we may be able to, firstly, extricate an innocent man from death row.
Well, my friends and colleagues and I are at least willing to talk to you and to share information, Ms. Shosenberg, but we are, you are a tenacious journalist, and we are somewhat concerned about publicity. I think we need certain assurances from you before we share information. I'm assuming you're an honourable journalist and you protect your sources.
Of course. I should be offended by that. Why would I not protect my sources? Assurances. I just want to get to the bottom of this matter. I want to know who these killers are, and I want to be able to prove that Robson is corrupt and that Hilton Adams is an innocent man. Put it this way: if I wanted to expose you, I could have done so already.
Well, Ms. Shosenberg, We want to trust you, but I think it would be useful to have a demonstration of why we should trust you first. Perhaps you could share some information with us. So, what exactly have you been investigating? The murders, or?
Well, as far as demonstrating my commitment to the cause, how about the fact that I know you broke into Juju House last night for a start? He smiles. If I wanted to cause trouble for you, then I could tell Captain Robson or put it in my paper.
What do you know of Captain Robson?
Well, he's a bent copper, as they say in England. He's on the take.
Miss Shosenberg, you've been investigating the murders possibly for a lot longer than we have. Do you have any suspicions or information about who might be behind this?
Yeah, I do. You're right, I have been investigating it for a long time. I've spoken to a lot of friends of Hilton Adams, and also his wife as well, who, by the way, is still investigating in her own way. So what is it that you know about these people? Maybe we should go inside or something, and maybe your friend in the car should come too. We can chat about what we know. At least if we share information, then we both know where we are. I have nothing to be gained by exploiting or exposing you in any way. I just want this. This is something that has become a personal thing for me now.
All right. Well, you go inside. We'll go and speak to our colleagues, and we'll join you shortly.
Okay.
Yes. I think perhaps maybe a civilized conversation over a cup of tea or
Right,
coffee.
I'll head over to that coffee house over the road. She
We'll
locks the
join
car.
you shortly.
She locks the car door and heads over to the coffee house.
We'll go back to the car first.
Okay. You head back up the sidewalk to the car where your two friends are waiting.
Well, Lex Douglas, she's keen to talk to us. He knows about Robson being bent. He knows we broke into Juju House. She's been investigating the murders. She's been able to speak to some of those who knew the murder victims and the alleged killer, which is more than we have.
Okay. Let's see what she has to say then.
Okay, you're going to head across the road into the coffee house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking up and down the street,
Yeah.
trying to see if there may be someone else.
Okay.
Wanted to do it first. One of Robson.
Okay. You look around you. No, you don't see anything that strikes you as being suspicious. Although this is quite a busy part of the town of the city, so it's quite difficult to. There's a lot of traffic around and a lot of people walking around. That's what I'm trying to say, really. But nothing suspicious strikes you as you cross the road head towards the coffee shop. No. Okay, you're going to go inside then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll sit facing the door.
You sit what? Sorry.
Facing the door.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll sit facing away from the pastry and cakes. They look far too delicious.
So we'll sit down with Miss Shosenberg.
Okay. You walk into the cafe, and you head across to where she sat on a table on her own. She stands up as you all approach. I have been attempting to make contact with all of you over the past day or so, but you seem to have not been home. Where did you go last night after your little expedition, if you don't mind me asking?
Miss Shosenberg, I think we need to learn to trust you a little before we share too much more with you. You've clearly been investigating the murders for a lot longer than we have. Can you tell us, is there any connection between the victims? Have you got any leads or any clues as to who might be behind this?
Well, as the saying goes, I'll tell you what I know if you tell me what you know. Bearing in mind that I know you broke into Juju House last night, you must have a reason. It's taken me quite a lot of digging and a lot of convincing the good friends of Hilton Adams that I'm to be trusted to even get the name of that place. So how did you know about it?
Because we're good at our jobs.
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because what actually are your jobs? Are you private detectives? You don't work for the police.
Look, at the moment, we're trying to find out how and why our friend was murdered.
And how far have you got with that? Because that is exactly what Robson wouldn't want you to do. And the fact that he fitted up Hilton Adams is becoming more and more obvious. And your friend's murder has reopened the old wound. And as much as it casts a lot more doubt now upon his theory and the fact that Hilton Adams was actually guilty.
So why do you think he fitted him up? Was he just a convenient patsy? And is it to protect somebody, or just because he wanted a clear-up improve its clear-up rate?
Well, it's a good question, isn't it? Well, why Hilton in particular? If I tell you what I know about that,
If you tell us what you know about that and what you think Robson's motives are, other than being a bent copper, I'll tell you why we went to Juju House.
okay, you kind of have me on the back foot, really, don't you?
Well,
So
mutual benefit.
what I've learned from Millie Adams, Hilton's wife, and also from Hilton's friends, who he used to be in the army with, the Harlem Hellfighters. Not sure whether you've heard of them, but they're Needham Johnson, Douglas Fales, Art Mills, and Jackie Wallace. They're all as tight can be with Hilton, and that's where it all started, from what I understand, several years ago. So not long after the war had ended, maybe sometime at the beginning of 1919, Hilton and his friends grew concerned when Harlem locals began to disappear. So the 5 of them from the 369th Infantry decided to kind of turn a bit vigilante. So they began organising patrols to try and protect members of the community, and also trying to find out who was responsible after the police at the 14th Precinct refused to take the matter seriously. So, from what I understand, they realised there was a pattern forming regarding the disappearances. There were usually 2 people, sometimes more, but at the same time every month. It was always on or just before the new moon. Even after the mutilated bodies started appearing, a couple of years ago, the police still refused to do anything. Robson claimed that gang violence and street robberies gone wrong with the cause. Despite the pronouncements regarding an African death cult, Robson just called the folklorist Dr. Mordecai Lemming, who mentioned this, an old crackpot with too much time on his hands, and no credence was put on this at all. So Robson obviously had a reason to disregard it. Apparently, Hilton focused on the death cult link, and he had loads of notes about this sort of thing in his journal. But the journal was confiscated by Robson when he was arrested. The group, their interference didn't go down very well with Robson and the police. And that was when pressure started to be applied by members of the old conservative guard in the Harlem community, as well as the church, and then the elders in their sermons, concerning the group's activities, and saying it would only bring Harlem into disrepute, especially all this cult nonsense, which, as far as they were concerned, just played into the white perceptions of black people as uneducated savages. But they were sure that there was a cult operating in Harlem, and that they were likely paying the police to turn a blind eye, just like all the other criminal gangs do. Apparently, Hilton managed to stumble across someone being attacked when out on a patrol, and he drove the attacker off. In the fight, he tore a strip of cloth off some kind of weird mask he was wearing, and then used it as a bookmark for his journal. Shortly before his arrest, Hilton had become convinced that an African art shop, one that we know well, Juju House, had connections to the cult and had begun staking out the place at night. He was arrested before he was able to report back to his friends what he found. To answer your question, Douglas, he was arrested in September 24 after he was found standing over the body of a middle-aged white man in a dingy alley not far from the Harlem branch of the New York Public Library. The police were allegedly alerted by the dying man's screams and claimed to have seen Hilton throw away a bloody knife when confronted. The knife, Hilton's army-issue bolo knife, was reportedly recovered from the scene. All of the group are adamant that Hilton never took his knife out with him when he went on patrol, and they always went out with their army-issue revolvers, some sort of fit-up. Hilton's wife Millie is a good woman. She holds out that somehow her husband will be pardoned before his date with old Sparky. Problem is now that she's beginning to lose hope. The rest of his friends have been lent on by Robson and don't really want to talk anymore. There's no point in me publishing anything about police harassment and brutality as some sort of cover-up. Everyone is already aware that the police are paid to turn a blind eye anyway. No one's going to take my word over it. It's just one of those things that it's not any news. I need more. As I said, they've all been threatened. It's made it clear that Hilton was arrested and the rest of them could end up on death row too as accomplices if they don't mind their own business. With this new murder, it wouldn't surprise me if Robson didn't come trying to pin something on them as accomplices for it. So as you can see, it's it's quite a distressing situation, and it just felt like your involvement could maybe throw some light on what exactly is going on.
Well, I think it's fair to say that pretty much everything that you've just recounted rings true with what we've found. The belief that Juju House is involved in the death cult is exactly that. We broke in there to find evidence that they were involved, and that is exactly what we found in the basement. They are conducting ceremonies down there, and there's, or was before it was removed, paraphernalia that matched the murderers that we encountered, and the descriptions of what you said were taken from the person that he fought off, the bookmark. So
Wow.
we also know that Robson's men are actively protecting that area because they've chased us off a number of times, and we've been followed by the police as well.
Yeah, well, I've seen the police there too. I've been watching Juju House for the past couple of weeks.
And is that so? Where were you when you saw us?
In a tenement that overlooks the ransom court.
Yeah, right. So it was you that we saw. We thought that it was one of Robson's men watching.
Well, no doubt that a lot of the inhabitants of those tenements around there have been paid by Robson as informants. But I just did the same. Just paid somebody to let me use their room. But that's how I saw you go in. Yes.
Have you seen any pattern or of who goes in and who goes out, or any frequent visitors?
Us.
Beside us, of course.
Yeah, I've seen somebody collecting what probably is protection money. It's difficult to. The only problem with the my vantage point is it's a little bit too far away, especially when it's dark, to be able to make out just one person. But there's definitely some payments been going on, and it wouldn't be very difficult to guess who they're to. I've also seen, yes, the one thing I haven't seen, which is what I've been looking for over the past couple of weeks, something that Millie, Hilton's wife, said that she saw previously when she was watching the place. Apparently once a month, she noted that maybe 20 to 30 people file into the shop in the early hours of the morning.
Did that coincide with the new moon?
Well, that's what I'm thinking now. I've been watching for the last couple of weeks, and obviously we haven't had a new moon. The new moon's coming up on Saturday. But she says that the attendees are a mixed bunch. She swears some look like tramps and lowlifes, whilst others look like the sort of people her husband worked with in construction, like blue-collar workers. She also said that she kind of leans in here. She also said that once she saw crates going into Ransom Court on a night when there was a gathering, about an hour or so before the guests arrive. She thinks it's some sort of exclusive speakeasy in the basement. And the crates might contain supplies of alcohol, but she also had a horrible feeling that given the disappearances also seemed to tie in with those nights, there's a more sinister explanation. I think you'd probably concur with that by the sounds of it.
We do now. We certainly went on the speakeasy theory to start with ourselves, but no, that ship has definitely sailed from what day is it?
It's Wednesday today.
It's Wednesday. And the new moon is coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's highly unlikely that they'll have another ceremony in that location, given the amount of interest that it's attracting at the moment.
Yeah.
They've already started shifting things out. There is, unless of course, what's down there that can't be moved, there's a pit of some description with a stone seal on it. That cannot be moved. And if that is significant to their ceremonies, then they may not be able to move.
It can only be here.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that they can't just not do it.
Well, there is that, unless their god demands that they do it. If they are adherents to their cult, maybe they would have no option. They would have to take the risk.
They've invested an awful lot of time and effort in that cellar.
Well, exactly.
What do you think the pit is?
We don't know. We didn't open it, although there were occult symbols on it. It may be somewhere where they throw the bodies. Maybe it's where they conduct their ceremonies or sacrifices, or maybe there's something in there. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that I want to find out.
What is this kind of this rune or symbol that's been etched into some of these victims? What's that all about? Is that just some kind of message?
We believe it to be a symbol of a god that the death cult worships, but we haven't identified what that might be yet.
Wow.
There's certainly something outside, if there is such thing as the run-of-the-mill normal occult, that you might be able to read about in general literature.
Well, it's big. It really is big. So what are you planning on doing next?
Well, this is the problem. We are stymied because of the cover that Robson provides.
And you didn't find any evidence of Robson's being complicit in this?
No evidence of Robson's involvement, other than the fact that we are being followed and there are a lot of police around. It is, of course, possible that we could draw them out by spending more time there, but people have a tendency to get hurt resisting arrest. That's not something we necessarily want to fall foul of.
What were you doing speaking to Paul earlier?
Pretty much what I'm saying to you now. He needs evidence.
What, and what you told him's not enough?
It's all circumstantial, isn't it? How do you get a warrant based on that? And when he'd have to go up against Robson to do it, and his family's been threatened as well.
It stinks.
It does. But you've got to understand that what's happening to people around this is not nice, and you are putting yourself in the centre of it. Our concern with talking to you is that we are putting your life at risk.
Why?
Because you're digging too deeply. And if you dig too deep, you might not like what you find, and certainly they won't like you finding it.
Is that why they went after your friend, Jackson Elias?
Potentially.
We suspect so.
He got close to something.
Because he investigated death cults, didn't he? That's what his books were about. Were they worried that he was going to expose them?
That's our working theory at the moment, but we need to prove that.
Makes sense.
It's what we're attempting to do.
Wow. So we know. I feel like I know a lot more, but there's not really a lot more I know. If you see what I mean, it makes no sense.
No, we've just corroborated each other's investigations.
We both seem to have arrived at the same level of information, just by perhaps different routes.
Obviously, if we can get hold of that notebook from Robson somehow.
Well, if it still exists.
Yeah, well, he may well have destroyed it. And your feeling is that he's only interested in it from a money perspective rather than being actively involved in the cult himself. You've seen no evidence of that.
I don't know. I mean, you've probably done your own investigations around Robson. He's not seen as being a particularly nice man, but he, again, as you probably guess, there are lots of this type of thing going on in New York as it stands, unfortunately, especially in Harlem.
Yeah.
Whether a white police captain would be involved in a ostensibly African American death cult seems unlikely. I feel it. My personal theory will be it is literally just the racket money, and he probably doesn't realise what he's protecting. At least that's what I like to think.
Well, he knows he's protecting murderers, doesn't he? He's being willfully blind to it.
Well, I don't know if he does, because I think he just, the fact that he just needed to fit someone up to prove that he'd got them was convenient. So if he knew that there was any evidence that if he knew that there was a cult that had committed these murders, it's just convenient not to look into it, isn't it?
But I do think that he's now got to a point where he's backed himself into a corner. So he's going to perpetuate miscarriage.
Well, might there come a point where this becomes too hot for Robson and he just steps away?
Well, that was my suggestion previously, that we tell him what we know and tell him that we're not interested in his wider protection racket, but he needs to remove the protection of Juju House because we're going to blow it wide open.
The only problem with that is that if it's not enough to convince Paul to do anything, we haven't got enough evidence to convince Robson to do anything. That's the way I'd look at it. You know, we need more to bend his arm, force his arm, if that's the case.
Well, we are causing him trouble at the moment, and we're going to cause more trouble. One thing,
but he's got one way of dealing with that.
Well, what do you think he's going to arrest and murder 4 well-to-do gentlemen, 2 of which are British?
I don't think he'll murder you, no, but he will certainly have no compunction to arrest you. and make your life a misery. You don't realise that he has quite a lot of power. He's a captain. This is it may not be how it works in England, but I'm afraid here in New York there is a lot to be said for knowing the right people or the wrong people. There are corrupt judges. There are corrupt. This corruption runs all the way through our city, unfortunately. So it wouldn't be too difficult for him to trump up some charges and have you convicted on them. I can assure you that you wouldn't have been the first well-to-do gentleman that's happened to.
The temptation to take him and show him what's down there.
I don't think he would do that.
I'm not saying that we give him any choice.
Her eyes widened. She's like, I don't really like where this conversation's going. I want to get to the bottom of it, but we need to do it in the right way.
That's a maybe on the police kidnapping then.
I'm actually half serious the way this is going. So what now? Are you going to continue to follow us around?
What do you want me to do?
Well, for the time being, we'd like you to stay well back because it's enough time spent worrying about our own safety without having to worry about yours as well.
So what you told? I asked you earlier if you had any plans, and you kind of sidestepped it. What are you planning on doing next?
We will probably go back to Juju House to obtain the additional evidence that we need.
When are you going to do that? Tonight?
Well, we don't know. Maybe if you wanted to go back and observe, you could watch, but we do not want you going in there. It is too dangerous. You stand a very high chance of dying or getting one of us killed protecting you.
Okay, well, I'm happy to. I mean, yeah, I want to be involved because I've been involved and I've got a lot of skin in the game here.
If you stay back and you stay in that room and you watch and you record what happens, if it all goes south, you've got your story. And if it all goes according to plan, then we will tell you what goes on inside. You can have your quotes and you can have photographs as long as you don't go in the building. If you go in the building, then you lose any cooperation from us because we cannot risk you being killed. It isn't a game. I know you're a journalist and you find this kind of thing exciting, but when you've seen people's guts spilled out, your friends' guts spilled out.
I get it. Okay, I know. I realise that I'm not dealing with some 2-bit crime here. So yeah, I'm happy with that. If I'll stay in the room. I don't want to put myself in danger, to be honest, but I want to do everything I can to help Millie and Hilton, and also to bring down Robson.
If this works, you'll get everything. We're all working in exactly the same direction as you said. We'll bring down Robson.
When are you looking to do it then?
Tonight, we hope.
Okay, I need you to make a roll here for your obvious lies. Let me just
we're
check.
not going tonight then.
I'm just trying to think of which social skill would be the most relevant. It's not really fast talk as such, because that's a bit different, I think. Probably more persuade, I think.
Let's see what the highest one is.
Let's just check. Hold on.
Dodge.
Is it time for intimidate yet?
It's like he's really not messing.
It's
going to be persuade, isn't it? I think that's probably my highest one.
I
I am trying to persuade her. I'm not threatening her.
No, you don't really. You're not actively doing it, but you're just rolling it as again because you obviously are trying to deceive her. So, yeah.
Not that. It's not that heavy a deception.
Well, it is a straight lie. You're going in a couple of hours. You're going there, and you're telling him you're going to lie. So this couldn't be more of a lie, really.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be persuade. If you want to persuade someone quickly, actually, do you know what? I'll let you choose. It's a social skill. You can choose which one.
Yeah, I'm going to go persuade.
Okay. Hold on a sec.
No, I'm not. I'm going to fast talk her into it.
Okay. They're both equally as valid in this situation. I'm just going to check out what her psychology skill is, being a journalist and all.
Oh dear.
Okay. Yeah. What'd you get?
Oh, I was going to roll it now. That's just a regular success.
A regular success.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like there's something that you're not telling me. I've been in this game quite a long time, Douglas, and I know when somebody's trying to pull the wool over my eyes. You say, let's be honest with each other. I've been honest with you. I'd like you to be honest with me too.
Right. I'll be honest with you. What I haven't told you is that in the cellar, there are animated corpses of the previous murder victims, including the body of our friend, which was stolen. And the reason why I don't want you in there is because I don't want you to be driven mad by the sight of them as they lumber towards you to try and kill you.
See the colour completely drain out of her face, and she kind of just spits her coffee out. What? Oh, what? Are you being serious?
Deathly serious.
This
Sadly.
isn't some sort of fairy tale. What are you talking about? She
It's
looks
a
really,
death cult.
she looks visibly upset. It's a death cult, yeah, but what do you mean animated corpses? That's a lot of rubbish.
It's all real.
It's baloney.
You ask us what we do for a living. We hunt things down like that. You wonder why he investigated death cults? Because he knew that they were real as well.
No, I'm sorry, I can't believe that.
Well, you asked me to come clean with you. You wanted the truth. That's the truth.
How much do you know about her? Would you say? Do you think you have a good grasp of our backgrounds?
I've done a bit of digging, but yeah, I know a bit about you. Why?
How do you think the four of us, no offense, Jones, love you, are so closely bonded when we are so different? Two Englishmen, an American and a Canadian, running around, investigating, glued to the hip together, because we have seen things together, fought things together. It's all very, very real.
No, stop it. You're scaring me now. I don't like it.
Good. If
We
you
all
want
bear
to,
the scars to prove it.
I'm fresher than others.
Wallows. I don't really know what to say.
Jackson was investigating a genuine death cult, and that's what got him killed. You don't need to know whether or not that's real. All you need to know is that they believe it's real. We believe it's real. Now, as I said, it depends on how far you want to dig and maybe see what we've seen. Maybe you'll see it the same. Maybe you'll see it differently. Maybe you should be sensible and step away from the darkness before it consumes you.
I think I need to go and speak to Millie and tell her not to stay away from that place.
Has she been
Well,
going there?
She's been watching. Look, you've told me a lot, and she stands up. Just keep in touch with me and let me know what happens, okay?
We will.
Gee,
Believe me, I will look her very intently in the eyes. I'm not lying to you about this. We're trying to protect you.
she looks back at you and she says, "That's what's so scary. I know you're not lying because I can see it in your eyes." And she kind of she tears up and walks out quickly out of the coffee shop. You see her kind of scuttling across the road in the snow to her car.
I find, gentlemen, when starting a new relationship, that honesty is the best policy.
I wonder if that relationship may have just ended, but I agree.
Well, why lie to her?
Mm.
She didn't believe the story enough to stay away. It may have saved her life. It may draw her towards us, and she can help us in a way that we don't have to maintain any subterfuge.
You're going to need some time to come to terms with what we've just told her, if she ever can.
Well, hopefully she can come to terms with it tomorrow. By then, it'll all be done.
Mm.
Okay, she's gone. She's driven off.
Fancy a cake, Stanton?
Well, to be honest, I don't really have the appetite.
You've already got a mouthful. He says, stuffing a cake into his mouth.
Do we need to?
I don't think I can face the third.
It's a critical success. Oh.
Not even a wafer thin meat.
If we're going back to Juju House, I know we're going with Paul and his men, but do we need to make sure we're sufficiently protected? Those corpses may still be there.
When you say sufficiently protected, what do you mean?
In terms of weapons.
Well, do you want to
is
take
that
anything else?
Is that a euphemism? Is sufficiently protected a euphemism for shotguns, Jacob?
I am considerably better with a handgun than I am a shotgun. I think if I'm going to do a headshot, I'd rather use a pistol. Unless you're thinking swords,
Well,
Jacob. I know you have a. I assume you have the one from Peru still.
I do. I don't think I've got the skill to use it.
I'm not entirely sure it would seem altogether sensible to be seen walking down the street carrying
No.
a sword.
We could head for baseball practice. All four of us would need our own bats and gloves. Maybe not the gloves.
Certainly some a stout jacket in order, some sort of protection.
Darren, are the police officers sort of routinely armed?
Yeah. You're the only ones left in this coffee shop now, and the waitress comes up to you and says, "Can I get you Any more coffee, gentlemen? You seem to have run out.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you.
Another
Thank
pot
you.
would be lovely. Thank you.
He brings the pot over and fills up your cups. She goes around cleaning the other tables.
So, are we shopping for leather jackets?
I was thinking maybe some of the get-up that you Lex have when you're on the ice.
Hang on, has this changed into the Goonies?
How were they?
I would-
How were they
I would rem-
attacking us? Were they? Was it looking at us with arms, or were they trying to bite?
No, they were clubbing at you with their arms.
All right.
But they didn't really get close enough to you to bite you.
Just keep it that way.
Maybe catching, yeah. I mean, we know they're there now. Were they moving really fast?
Yes.
They weren't moving really fast, but they're moving faster than you would expect an animated corpse to move.
Infinitely faster than a dead body.
Surprisingly fast for a dead person, yeah.
Yeah, that's really fast for a dead person.
Yeah.
I
I think that description was probably something for me trying to convey to you guys that they weren't your standard really slow zombies. They were more.
they're new style zombies, not old style zombies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I much prefer fighting the old style.
Well-
Speaking it's the 20s, all zombies are new style right now.
Okay, so what was
we just stay back and we just shoot at them from a distance. I think
Or
pick your shot and aim, or we let the police go down there and get eaten.
Well, I do feel, I have to say, I'm never that keen on protecting the police, but I do feel a little guilty about the prospect of sending them down into the lion's den without. I mean, clearly we can't forewarn them as to exactly what really is down there, but
Did we not tell? I told Paul.
No, you didn't.
Well, yeah, I suppose not.
They're
I
not-
did tell him there were bodies down there, but I didn't say they were moving around.
no,
No.
and they're not going to believe us. But I do think we ought to find some way of at least preparing them for a fight.
It's not so much the fight I'm concerned about. It's the fact that they see it, turn tail, run, or have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, get in our way.
Perhaps the easiest thing to do is that they know that this cult has foot soldiers that are armed with machetes and are willing to murder. We perhaps ought to just remind them of that before they go in.
Mechanics question, Darren.
Mm.
It was only Stanton and Lex that saw the corpses. True?
No, it's Jacob and Lex, wasn't it?
Jacob and Lex.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
saw them coming running towards me.
Of course.
I've got
yeah,
the
sorry.
sanity lost to prove it.
Yes. Okay. Now, they described what they saw to us. Does that give us any protection at all from sanity loss when we see it when we go down there?
No, and it doesn't give them any protection either.
So seeing it again doesn't make any difference.
Right, it does after a while. There's a getting used to the whatever it is rule, but you have to lose the reasonable. I think you have to lose the maximum amount of sanity you can from seeing them before you're immune.
Oh, blimey. Okay.
Because obviously, being told that there's a walking corpse is a bit different to actually seeing it.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Can't steel yourself by being prepared,
No, unfortunately
Okay.
not.
which is why I'm going down blindfolded.
Yeah, you're never ready for the unnatural.
No.
It's all right. I'm going to carry a bird in a cage. That'll help.
Right, what's the plan now then? You're sat in the coffee shop, and the attendant who's been looking at you rather quizzically as she overhears snatches of your conversation.
We probably should
Well-
leave and head to the alley.
Yeah,
That's where we're meeting Paul,
Yeah.
isn't
I say quite loudly. Time to get back to rehearsals then.
it?
Nice. Okay, you're gonna head out then, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope my costume's finished.
Okay, you head back to your car and then drive directly to Harlem. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check to see if we've been followed, so maybe a bit of wiggling here or there.
Okay. Driving to 137th Street. You aren't. Well, you don't see any sign of you being tailed. No obvious sign. Okay, so where are you going to go and what are you going to do? You're turning up at pretty much spot on the time. You said 3 hours, so by the time you get there, it'll be literally, you'll be pretty much on the dot.
I'll park the car at the entrance to the alleyway, I think, and just wait for Paul.
Okay.
Check
But be
my
prepared to be prepared to put your foot down and do a runner if it turns out Robson turns up rather than Paul.
I'll leave the engine running. Good idea.
check my
Okay,
guns loaded.
In case we get stitched.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. As you kind of drive along West 137th towards the alleyway, you can see that there are two police officers actually standing at the head of the alleyway.
We recognise them?
No, you don't recognise them. They are officers, but you don't recognise them. They could be. It's difficult to tell. They obviously all wear the same uniform, so there's no way of differentiating really. What are you going to
Can't
do?
really go up to them and go, excuse me, are you the crooked ones or the good ones? So I think we just have to wait in the car until we see Paul.
Yep.
So you're just going to pull up, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll just pull up.
Okay, you pull up. You haven't been pulled up for very long when you see that one of the police officers points across the road at you to the other one, and they both start walking across the road. They're heading towards your car.
Okay.
They cross the road, and one of them knocks on the window, kind of, and makes their wind down your window sign.
Driver's side, not for me.
Pardon?
For driver's side or?
Yeah, driver's side.
Yeah, okay. Wind the window down.
Howdy.
Good
His eyes
afternoon.
narrow. Can I ask your name?
Yes, of course. It's Alexander War.
Can you get out of the car, please? And all of you out of the car. They both get their guns out. All of you out of the car.
Comply.
Yep. I got out. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get out of the car. It says, and they say, right across the road.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll walk.
keep complying. Yeah.
Okay, they wave the guns towards you. They wave the guns for you to go across the road, and they follow you with the guns out. Head that way. Head down the alley.
Yep.
Okay.
You go down the alleyway with the police behind you, and as you come to the courtyard at the end, you can see that there's a carpenter working on the door, and there's two more officers that are standing by the doorway. You immediately recognise Lex. You immediately recognise one of the officers as being the fedora-wearing gentleman that you saw collecting a suspicious-looking envelope in the night, if you remember.
Yeah.
One of the policemen says, "Go tell Captain Robson that we've got them here." And that police officer kind of just he walks away. He smiles as he walks past you and heads off up the alleyway. You're under arrest, all four of you. Break in, entering. They start reading your rights to you.
Okay. I'll just stand there.
Okay. Okay. Another police officer comes through from the shop, and this you can see by the stripes on his arm that he's a sergeant. And he comes out and he's returning to the scene of the crime, agents. Foolish.
Not entirely.
Well, suppose it makes our job easier.
And
Captain.
ours.
Is Captain Robson around?
No, he's not here, is he? He's a captain. We'll take you to see him, though, if you're interested.
That would be excellent. Quick question. Have you examined the shop for any missing items? If somebody broke in, surely they broke in for a reason.
Well, you'll be able to tell us that, won't you, when we interview you? You didn't exactly You didn't exactly do it very stealthily, did you? Let me look at the damage you caused. He turns and looks at the. We've got witnesses. Don't worry.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure they're the finest witnesses money can buy.
Man, that door's been shattered.
Yeah, I was impressed by whoever did that. But back to my original question. You're not curious as to why someone might want to break into a shop of low rent knickknacks?
I'm not really interested in anything you've got to say, to be honest. So just shut up.
Really?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
really.
Have you not had a proper look round?
Have you had a look in the cellar?
There isn't a cellar. We've looked around. We've looked around enough to see what we need to see. Now shut up and walk.
There's a
We're going to take you
cellar.
to the station. Look, I'm not interested in what you got to say. He pulls out his gun as well. Says,
Right.
right, let's.
Have a look in the cellar.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's corpses down there.
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to
Yeah,
look mighty stupid when it turns up in the New York Times tomorrow.
Look, you're all a bit kooky. I can see that. Don't worry about it. You weird, kind of eccentric English people. I get all that.
Medium.
Well, whatever. Foreigners.
Scotland Yard police officer, as it happens.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, your jurisdiction doesn't reach to Harlem, I'm afraid. And you might
No,
be
I'm
able
not. I'm not suggesting it does, but I have contacts, and I also know what police procedure is, none of which you're following. So it's going to be
Well,
very expensive for you to get us convicted. You're going to have to pay a judge a lot as well,
if you have any
or you
complaints,
can look, or you can look in the cellar.
if you have any complaints, direct them towards the captain when you arrive at the station. At his station, he's a fair man. He'll listen. Come on,
I guess at least the gold is safe in the cellar then.
look. If you don't shut up, I'll do something that I'll regret.
Oh, please do.
Look, this is to protect you. Once it becomes common knowledge what's in that cellar, this is all going to blow up in Robson's face, and he's not going to be happy with you for not protecting him against. We're just asking you to look in the cellar, and I think
Well,
you'll
that's a
see.
chance
I
I'll
think
have to take, isn't it? It's a chance I'll
you'll
have to take.
see
Now,
things differently.
okay, yes. Look, I don't want to hear anymore. Let's go. Take him away.
Before we go, just one thing. May I?
One of the policemen comes forward, puts some handcuffs on you.
I'll step back to prevent him from doing that. If you will wait for one moment, can I show you something?
No, are you resisting arrest?
You're not interested in evidence.
Are you resisting arrest? The policeman steps forward again, try and put the handcuffs on you. We'll have to subdue you if you resist arrest. Please put your hands out.
How many police are here?
3. There's
That
a
was open them.
sergeant and 2 officers. The other one went off up the alleyway. There's some more at the end of the alleyway, but there's 3 here.
Mm-hmm. So
You're
there's
gonna
three. There's 6 in total. I'm sorry. I'm just sizing up exactly.
Yeah, there are 3 here and 2 at the end of the alleyway. You guess.
Right. I'm looking around at the other 3 gentlemen. Are we resisting arrest?
I would suggest you don't. One of them gets their nightstick out and says, "Look, if we have to persuade you, then we will."
I wouldn't want one of these nice officers to end up the way that door did. So maybe we shouldn't, because I wouldn't want to hurt them.
If you have any sob stories, you can tell the captain when you get to the station. Like I said, he's a fair man. Now, this is going to be your last chance before things get ugly. You put your hands out.
Perhaps we need to see Robson, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to let?
Yeah, no, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's going to let themselves be handcuffed.
Unfortunately, I think this officer is too afraid.
Okay. So
That's why they didn't join us until 1916.
2 of the police lead you off up the alleyway towards a waiting police car, and the other 2 that's at the end of the alleyway.
Seemed a bit pointless to walk down the alleyway so you could take us back up the alleyway. Bit random.
Yeah. Well, just in case we resisted arrest, I assume.
Absolutely. Yes. You obviously know our methods, don't you? Being one of us, he says, smiling.
No, I'm a police officer. I'm not a crooked piece of scum.
That's not going to go well, is it? When I tell Captain what you just called us.
I'll tell the captain to his face. Don't you worry.
Get to tell Captain on you. You're in trouble now.
Okay, you get to the end of the alleyway, and the police that are already there open the car doors. Just as you're about to be bundled into the car, another police car pulls up, and you see Lieutenant Poole get out.
Yay!
You're late, dude.
Yeah, unless he's with them. I'll raise my hands up and say,
He
"You're
gets
late,
out.
Lieutenant Poole."
Yeah. He says, "It's all right, Sergeant. I'll take it from here." And then the sergeant who's arrested you says, "But sir, we have strict orders from Captain Robson to arrest these 4 men." Paul says, "And now you have orders from me, Sergeant, to stand down. As I said, I'll take it from here." You can see the sergeant's he's really pissed off now. It's like his face falls, and he looks at his men. Lieutenant Paul just stands there. "Sergeant."
I'll offer my hands up to the sergeant so he can unlock my cuffs.
Okay, the sergeant, he nods to his officers, and they unlock your cuffs. "As I said, I'll take it from here. Call off your other men too," says, looking down the alleyway. The sergeant disappears off down the alleyway. You can see by his body language that he's absolutely crestfallen. Comes back with the other 2 policemen. "You'll regret this, Paul. Lieutenant Paul to you, Sergeant, or sir." They skulk off. They get in their police car and wheel spin away from the end of the alleyway.
Wave them off. Bye.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Sorry I was late.
That's quite all right. You saved me from making a decision everyone was going to regret.
Yeah, well, it's a good job you didn't. We don't want anything getting ugly with I think even I could probably struggle getting you off and assaulting a policeman charge.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nothing I hate more than a crooked cop.
you and me both, Blake. The reason I was late is I had a phone call from Arthur Emerson Imports.
Yeah.
He's been trying to get hold of Stanton and Jacob, says you've not been answering, but he's got some information about one of his employees that you were interested in. Mukunga Undari.
Oh, right. Yes, he was one of the people that visited the Juju house when we were watching it.
Well, we've got an address for him in the east side, and also a coffee shop called Fat Maybelle's in Harlem that he frequents, probably a speakeasy.
Wow. Assuming this goes well, maybe we should pay them a visit afterwards.
I can do that now if you want, if you guys want to deal with this. I don't mind. No, stick together? Okay, fine.
Paul, advance warning, there may be things down there that are going to shock you. There are, at the very least, cultists who will be willing to kill you in all manner of unpleasant ways. So be prepared to fight, because they're not going to come quietly.
It looks like there's only 4 of us.
Yeah.
How many are in there? Do you think?
I don't know.
I didn't know that. Well,
I'm just saying that there may be some. Just saying, be prepared, because we don't know what's down there, and this isn't going to make any sense to you at the moment. But if you need to use your gun, aim for the head. They have some kind of I don't know whether they're on some kind of narcotic, but hitting them in the body doesn't seem to hurt them. Aim for the head. Don't aim to wound.
okay.
I know it doesn't seem to make sense, but
Thanks for the advice.
I'm serious.
I don't know what sort of book you use over in London, but that's not quite the way.
Habitually we don't carry guns at all. So
Yeah, well, exactly. Okay, let's see what we've got. Come on, let's get this done before Robson gets here.
right, let's go.
Okay, you head down the alleyway towards Juju House, and the carpenter is a little bit nonplussed about what the hell's going on. He's still in the middle of reassembling, or actually not reassembling, fitting a brand new door to the frame that's been destroyed. You head inside the shop, and you are quite surprised actually to see Silas Nkwane standing in there. He doesn't really understand what's going on. His eyes wide, and he's like, "What are you doing here, officer? It was these who broke in. These are criminals. They come to steal."
You have nothing that we want.
That's a very serious allegation, Mr. Nakwame. What evidence do you have?
Police, they tell me they have evidence. Others saw. Speak to Captain Robson. He knows. Yes, okay, thank you very much, sir. If you can step aside, I just want to do a search of the property. No, you speak to Captain Robson. He knows. This is his area. He's in charge here.
How expensive is Captain Robson, Mr. Kwame?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
You pay for his protection. We saw you pay him. Bribing a police officer.
That's enough. Paul turns to you and says, "That's enough of that, officer. Can you just take out Mr. Nkwame, please? Take him outside whilst we search. You don't have a warrant. You cannot search."
Unless a crime has been committed, that's fine.
The police
Isn't
officer.
that how it goes?
The other officer takes him outside. He's not very happy. He starts getting more and more agitated and shouting until such time as he's warned by the police officer that if he doesn't stop, that he could potentially get himself arrested. Right. Okay. Where are we?
Right, over here. Take him to the entrance to the cellar.
Okay.
Well, while they're opening the cellar door, I'm just going to quickly pop up the ladder and have a look in the attic, see if Nkwame might have returned that book.
No, there's no change to the state of the attic. All the items in there. It's exactly as you remember it last time you went up.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have a look in the back room, searching for any ledgers.
Okay.
Payments to Robson.
Okay. You search around in the back room for a bit, and amongst Nkwame's items, in one of the bureaus, you find a ledger, and in the ledger, you kind of quickly flick through it. Give me a sec. You find a recurring entry WR14 $300 on what looks to be a bi-weekly basis.
I'll poke my head around the corner back into the front of the shop.
Well, whilst you're doing that, that's taking you a bit of time to do that.
Okay.
So the others are doing other. So at the moment, then in the shop itself, you've got Lieutenant Poole and his sergeant, and one officer. The other officer's outside with Kwame. So that's three. There are three police in here. You've just showed him the trapdoor. You're going to open it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the layout here? What are we getting ourselves into?
Well, there's stairs down, and then there's a door at the end, and it turns, and then there's a cellar, stone cellar. Off to the right, if I remember, is what looks like a pit of some description, like a large well type thing that is covered with a stone cap.
Mm-hmm.
What's in there we don't know, although there are symbols on it which suggest it is significant from the cult's perspective. And in the on the other side, there is a extra portion to the cellar which is covered by a curtain. Behind that curtain is where we saw the bodies, and most likely, if there are cultists present, that is where they will be. So I would suggest extreme caution from anything behind, or before we investigate behind the curtains.
Well, in this situation, normally I'd advise you to stay here, but I think something tells me that might not be a good idea.
I think we should all go down to help each other in this instance.
Okay.
I think, if it's okay with you, Lieutenant, I think you should follow me.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'm just here. I just need to see enough. That's all I need to do. I just need to see enough. If what we do is we get in, we see what we need to see, and if we have to defend ourselves, so be it. But I can always call for reinforcements or backup if it becomes too dangerous. If you think there's a lot of them down here, I didn't realise we were getting into something that was a live. I thought it was a kind of an information rather than a live firefight type scenario.
Well, given the fact that they're already aware we're coming, they may have cleared out. There may be nothing down there at all.
Well, quite likely, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think they'd be rather stupid to be hiding down there, especially if there's no other way out.
Well, exactly. I'm just taking extreme caution.
Right. Okay. Who's going down first? That's not Robson. Sorry, that's not Paul asking. That's me asking. Who's going down first?
I think it should be me, and then Paul, and then Douglas.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening to your conversation as I'm looking through. About what time, Darren, might I have finished my search and found the ledger?
Yeah, about now, I think.
Okay, so I'll pop my head around the door and say, excuse me, Lieutenant, I've found something here you might find interesting. The ledger, recurring payment. Captain Robson, what's his first name?
Walter.
Walter. Okay, so WR14. You might want to look at this, and I'll point. Recurring payments, WR14, $300. Is that enough for you?
Well, it hasn't got his name, has it? But it's a start.
Shall I just look after this for you and put it in my knapsack?
Yeah, keep it.
And,
there might be something else in there that we can look at later. Okay,
good.
Lex, you head down the stairs, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you head down the steps, the kind of 20 feet or so, and you come into the corridor that you remember being in previously with all the weird symbols all over the walls. What the hell's all this?
I'll make sure I shine my torch up on it so he gets a good look.
These all juju symbols.
They are. We should take more photographs.
Okay, fine idea.
I'm not doing it. I'm traumatized by getting it wrong last time.
Stanton?
I'm at the back. I'll give it a go.
Okay, so you're going to be taking the photos at the back. Okay, this place gives me the creeps.
Yeah, just try coming here at night.
Okay, you go down into and you can see that the door is now is closed again. The heavy door that if you remember was picked previously. Jacob managed to pick the lock.
Yeah. I'll go and try to open it.
Okay, it's locked.
Didn't Jacob pick this last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob?
I'll unlock it.
Lieutenant Paul arches an eyebrow at you as he watches you picking the lock.
I'll sort of lean forward and say, "Locksmith, very good. Spends most of his time repairing."
Thank you, Stanton.
The door opens, silently swings inwards into the chamber. The lieutenant looks at you and just walks in ahead of you, Lex.
Okay. I'll get right on his shoulder, follow him.
What the hell is that? He says, pointing at the huge pit.
We don't know. We didn't look into it extensively when we were here before. We got distracted.
He goes over to the pit to have a look at it. Wow, this is weird. Well, there's nothing here.
Are there any lamps around?
You're shining your torches around. Yeah, there's the kerosene lamp that's in the main corridor that came down into it. There are in here there's loads of torches and sconces, loads of sconces, but the torches aren't lit. There's nothing here. One of the two other officers kind of wandering around looking. So they must have upped and left.
Is the curtain pulled back, or
Yeah, the curtain's pulled back. Sorry, no,
As in,
it's drawn. It's drawn across. Sorry, it's drawn across. You can't.
Okay.
You can't see beyond the curtain.
I'll light the kerosene lamp and bring it into the room to illuminate it a bit more.
And I'll go and open the curtain.
and I'll get my gun ready, raised.
Okay, so Lex, you're opening the curtain.
Yeah.
Douglas, how far away are you standing with your gun raised?
The size of the room, and I'm aiming.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have my gun out and I'll be shining my torch over and standing as close to the door as I can.
Okay. Lieutenant Paul's seeing you all getting your guns out. He kind of puts his hands up to say, "What are you doing?"
That's where we saw cultists last time. I'm just being cautious.
Okay. Well, he all of the policemen get their guns out. Okay. And Lex, you're going to pull the curtain back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You pull the curtain back. You can see the alcove beyond. This time you manage to make out that there is what looks to be some sort of chest on the floor in the middle of the alcove, which is covered by, has like a leopard skin like draped over it. But before you can make out anything else, lurching forward, you see the four zombie-like creatures once again. The head of which is Jackson Elias, staggering forward. You hear the police swearing. You hear shots. Everything becomes mad. Lex, you had your gun out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Douglas, you had your gun out.
I did.
Stanton, did you have yours out?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and Jacob, you had yours out as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, the shambling corpses stagger forward out of the alcove. Douglas, you're the first to squeeze your trigger. Jackson Elias's corpse is the one with his entrails trailing around its ankles, lurches forward out of beyond the curtain, almost heading directly towards Lex.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I am going to aim for his head, and I am going to make one shot.
Okay, so you get a penalty dice for aiming at the head.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we get anything for taking an aim? Or
You
anything
aimed
else?
beforehand, didn't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
You get a bonus die for aiming.
So just a regular
Yeah, regular.
single
Yeah.
roll then.
Mhm.
I missed it.
Okay, the bullet. You're shocked as you see this thing. The bullet crashes into the wall next to it. It's lurching forward. Lieutenant Poole is the next one to react. Kind of staggers back. Oh, actually, everyone needs to make a sanity roll first before we do anything else.
Oh, joy.
Forgot about that.
Ooh.
Lex, you pass.
Lex's nails. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
passed.
so Jacob, did you pass?
Nope, failed.
Oh,
This is the problem with losing sanity, isn't it? It becomes repetitive.
It becomes habit forming.
Yeah.
Stanton, did you fail as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
What about Douglas? Did you fail?
No, I passed.
no,
Oh, well
pass.
done. Okay, good.
Okay, hold on. Okay, you both cry out in terror as you see the body of Jackson Elias staggering forward, shambling in its unnatural, terrible gait. Let me see. So, first of all,
How far away am I from him, by the way?
Jacob, you're about 10 yards away on the other side of the room.
Okay. It's quite
Okay.
big then. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big room, yeah. Oh, okay, so you only take 1 point of sanity, Jacob, because maybe you just got used to seeing these things after last time. You failed as well, didn't you, Stanton?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Oh.
1 for you as well.
Very lucky roll.
Okay,
Mm.
8.
Call those zombies.
Okay. You see one of the policemen, he kind of screams, staggers back, and then just faints to the ground. Dead, just faints away straight away. Lieutenant Poole brings his gun to bear. 07.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I get a penalty die, though, for aiming at the head because he remembered what he was told to do.
But he had his gun out, wasn't he, doing that?
Yeah, but he wasn't aiming, though, because he didn't really know what to expect, like Blake
Okay.
did. Oh, bollocks. So that 7 has become 87.
Mm.
Okay, so that was Paul. So next is Jacob.
I'm going to take a single aimed shot at the head.
Okay.
Oh,
That is an extreme success.
Okay, so you were aiming from the beginning then, before the alcove opened, in the same way that same way that Douglas was, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, an extreme success. Okay, so that's an impale then, isn't it? Which is maximum damage plus another damage roll.
That's 1d8. So that's 8 plus what? Another d8.
13.
13. Yeah.
Okay.
Or Jackson.
Don't worry. He's dead already. Can't kill him twice. Just a shell.
But on the other hand, you do need to kill him twice.
That's true.
Okay. The body of Jackson, with its entrails dragging around its ankles, comes shambling forward out of the alcove. You let out a cry of terror as you see him again, Jacob. But you steel yourself and know what you need to do. Your gun is pointed directly between his eyes, aiming at the horrible glyph that's been scratched into his forehead. You pull the trigger, and you see his head explodes, and the thing, whatever it is, drops like a stone to the ground with blood spattered everywhere. Okay, now we're looking at Stanton.
So yes, I was taking aim, torch in one hand, gun in the other, and I'll shoot one of the others. The next one along.
Yeah.
The next one.
The next one is a white woman who is directly behind, or was a white woman. No, she directly behind. What was the body of Elias?
That's just a normal shot then.
You're using a shotgun.
No, a normal.
Okay, all right,
pistol,
okay.
a pistol.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a normal shot.
Yeah,
with
Just a normal shot.
Yeah. I just thought with Lex standing in the way, it's probably not the best. And Lieutenant Poole as well.
Yeah.
Might not be. Okay. Yeah, normal shot. Oh.
I saw the 0.
Okay, what sort of? I think that's just going to be a dud. I think.
Malfunction.
Oh, it's a malfunction. My gun
Yeah,
jams.
jams. Yeah.
Okay, is it an actual jam with that gun that you've got?
It's a 100 jam on everything.
No, it's not. Some of them. Sometimes it's just a dud on some of them.
I don't know. I will find out.
Let's have a look.
I have a Mauser.
What's? Oh yeah.
It's 9.
Let's just have a quick check. I'm trying to find out what the Have you found it?
It says malfunction 100. This is on page 180. Description.
Malfunction. Yeah, it's just a dud. If it's a bolt action, then it gets jammed. But it's not. You got a revolver, haven't you?
It's an automatic.
Yeah,
No,
an
it's
automatic.
automatic.
Yeah. It just doesn't fire. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
So,
you squeeze the trigger, and nothing happens. Well, nothing. It just goes click, and nothing happens. Okay. So that leaves Stanton. So Lex.
Okay, I will fire at one of the others. I think because I was drawing the curtain back, I wouldn't really be aiming, so I'm just picking.
Yeah, no, you weren't. That's why That's why you kind of were stepping out of the way. So yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a 10. Let's see what I can turn that into. An 80.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the sight and smell of these things again. You're trying to aim at the head as best you can, but you have to. The bullet flies wild. Okay. The other policeman, one of them has fainted away on the ground, and the other one suddenly just turns round, and you just hear, "Ah!" It just starts randomly firing all around the room.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's good to have backup.
You will make luck rolls for me, please.
I'm lucky.
I'm lucky.
I'm lucky.
So who got the best? Yeah, but in terms of hard and all that sort of stuff, who got what?
I don't think there is a hard or anything. I was on luck. Or was it just a?
No.
I got
I got
21.
normal.
Okay, so who got the worst roll out of the four of you?
Stanton.
Stanton. Okay, Stanton. The policeman has just gone completely mad and is just firing willy nilly. Unfortunately, a lot of his efforts seem to be aimed in your direction. Even with a penalty die, that's still a hit. You can attempt to dive for cover if you want to, as you realise that he's actually going to be. That he kind of just spins around and then just basically shoots straight at you. Do you want to try and dive for cover? Is he not there anymore?
He's left in disgust.
I think he's got him in the head.
Sorry, I was so shocked. I lost the ability to speak. So out through the doorway, was there any room either side of the doorway, or did the door take up the whole width?
Say it again, sorry.
You talk about diving for cover.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking diving out of the doorway, but if the doorway is as wide as the corridor, I won't get any cover.
Yeah, you could dive back through the door if you wanted to. That would give you cover. But you got to. I mean, if you dive for cover, it means that you lose next round's action.
Mm.
But it means he gets an additional penalty die, because at the moment it's going to hit you otherwise.
Yeah, I'm diving. So
Okay.
I see him start shooting. And I guess the door opens inwards.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I was standing in the doorway, so to get behind the door, I'd have to run around.
Yeah, you're just going to try and just diving out of the way, but
Yeah.
effectively just trying to dive out of the way of it, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's just check this. Diving for cover. So you need to make a dodge roll, please.
Not one of my best abilities. Fail.
Okay.
Don't think you can. Because he's allowed to dodge this because he saw it coming.
He's not dodging it. He's diving for cover.
Oh, okay.
So all that does is give him if he rolls a dodge and it's successful, it gives the shooter a penalty die. And also means that you lose your next round action as well. So unfortunately, because Stanton he tried to dive for cover, he has dived for cover, but he's not done it successfully. But he still loses next round's action.
Right, and he gets hit as well.
He gets hit as well.
Okay. Yeah. There's no reason why you wouldn't try it. But...
Yeah, you've got to try, haven't you?
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. Let's see what they've got. The police.
He's using a Thompson, yeah.
No, he's not. He's using a Colt 38 revolver. Ouch. Okay.
1d10.
Ouch.
Stanton. Let's have a look at your hit points. Oh dear. That is a major wound, Stanton. You get hit in the chest with the bullet from the detective. Major wound. You need to make. I think you need to make a con roll to stay. You get knocked to the ground straight away, but you're already on the ground anyway, so that doesn't matter. Damage flow chart. Yeah, so you fall prone and you need to make a con roll, and if you fail the con roll, then you fall unconscious.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you get hit in the chest and you start bleeding, and it's serious. You pass out. Okay. The animated corpses, and the woman that staggers forward out of the alcove, kind of swings a horribly broken arm at you, Lex. Are you going to try and dodge, or are you going to try and fight back? Fight back.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to fight back. Yeah. Obviously, what you're going to fight back with, like the.
So I will
Punch or.
I will attempt to tackle her to the ground so that she's prone.
Okay, so you're fighting back with a combat maneuver.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to make a brawl roll, and so I'll do that as well. Okay, so that's a fail.
I have a hard success.
Okay, so you, as the thing comes out of the alcove, you just grab hold of it and literally just throw it to the ground. And you're kind of basically lying on top of it now, and it kind of starts writhing, trying to get itself out of your grip. So you're lying on the ground on top of it. Swinging its horrible, like jagged claws at you. But another one comes staggering forward out of the alcove towards Lieutenant Poole. And oh shit! That'll
How's
be
A 2.
that's a 2. So Lieutenant Paul is trying to dodge, and he gets a okay. So that's 2 is a critical hit. This is not going well. So it's D4 plus damage bonus 8. Okay, Lieutenant Paul is hit. The third zombie creature, man, is a tall African American, and it kind of smacks him around the face and then bites him in the neck. He falls backwards, blood all over, pumping from the wound. He's on the ground now, Paul is. I'm not going to say in a pool of blood because that's bad.
A pool of pool blood.
Okay. The fourth zombie creature is still emerging from the alcove, so we're now back with Douglas.
Is the police officer still flailing around shooting, or is he?
No, yes, he is. He's still very much doing that, unfortunately.
Right. Can I get to the doorway and use the doorway for cover?
You can certainly move that far.
I will move that far. Does that mean I can't shoot this round?
No, you can
Okay.
shoot as well. You can only fire one shot though.
Yeah, I will get to there using that for cover to try and avoid getting hit by him, and then I will turn and I will try and shoot the one that is bearing down on Paul.
Okay, let me just make sure that's the right. You can move up to your movement in yards. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can get to the door.
Okay.
You can move up to your movement just for future reference. You can move up to your movement in yards and still fire.
Okay, excellent.
In a round. Okay.
Okay, I will do that then. Aiming takes a round, doesn't it? So I can't aim again. So
yeah. So you're trying to use the door for cover. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a regular hit.
Which one are you firing at?
The one on Paul. I'm assuming I get a.
The one that's standing over Paul. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm assuming a disadvantage dice on that. Do I?
You get a penalty.
I'm aiming for the head. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Oh, actually, hold on a sec.
Are any of these at point blank range?
No, I don't think so.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
And no, that's why I asked how big the room was.
Yeah, they're not. They're not at point blank range. Right? Okay. What did you get with the penalty die?
66. It's still a hit. It's a regular hit.
Okay. Can you roll your damage, please?
I can. It's excellent. 10.
Okay. The bullet smashes into the mouth of the animated corpse, and again the head. And then into the back of the spine, and the head is almost blown off. The thing just collapses, twitching horribly, then stops. Oh, okay. In this scene of nightmares, it is Jacob next.
I was quite close to the door anyway, so I'm going to retreat to the and take cover the other side of the doorway. And
hold on a minute. We've got Stanton lying on the floor by the door. We've then got Douglas by the door, and you as well. That's quite a crowded doorway. So are you actually going through the door, are you?
Yeah.
Depends how far I fell. So I dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's not enough room because Douglas is basically standing in the doorway already, using the door as cover. So there's not enough room for 2 people to be able to do that, unfortunately. There are crates and drums and other bits and pieces around the edges of this room. The crates, especially, you could potentially, from where you are, use them as cover.
I'm going to move to one of those and take cover, and I'm going to aim. So I know I'm not going to take a shot this round, but
okay. So which one are you going to aim at?
Sorry, just to remind me, the one that was on. So Jackson's gone. The one who was on Paul is gone. Yeah,
then there's the woman that's left. You're gonna actually that's the only one that you can see from there. So that's a silly question. Okay, so you're gonna more or less kneel down, crouch down behind the crates to give you cover.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna aim at that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Okay, Stanton, you can't really do anything. Lex.
I will put my gun to the forehead of the one I've got under control and pull the trigger.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to make sure which gets. You get a bonus die for the fact that you are holding it.
Okay, so that is a
normal success.
Hard success. No, you're right. That's a normal success.
Okay.
I'm getting confused with my brawl. So I did the bonus dice.
Yeah, but because you're pointing at the head, I just realised you get a penalty for that, don't you? So they negate each other.
Literally pressing it up against the forehead. I'm that close.
Yeah, but it's still
Oh, I
wriggling
see.
around. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
okay.
not. You've basically got on a rugby tackle, but it's still kind of trying to get away from you. So it's not as easy, and its heads everywhere. It's not as easy as that.
Yeah, so
because
just
you're not
normal,
aiming.
Yeah.
normal success.
Yeah. Okay, I need to roll the damage then.
But is that point blank?
Oh yeah, you're at point blank range. Absolutely. So you do get a bonus die. Yeah, good shout actually.
As I sort of lean over.
I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that makes it a hard success.
Okay, that's great. Hard success. Okay, that's just roll your
Makes,
normal damage
makes
then.
a difference. Yeah, makes a difference.
No, but it was worth doing. So you got 5.
Seven damage.
Okay. Bullet sinks into the thing's head, but you unfortunately this thing's still, even though there's gore and blood everywhere, or gore mainly, it's still writhing around trying to force you off it.
I thought it should have fired 3. Never mind.
Okay. Right, the mad policeman. Again, can we have a luck roll from 3 remaining of you, please, that are still standing at the moment?
Ooh, 88.
97. Nope.
Do the zombies get luck roll?
Why?
Well, I'm just thinking they might be unlucky.
Yeah, they might be.
Get hits as well.
I think I might have got 100. I didn't see it roll.
They got
Yeah, I'm not
58.
sure. No, you got 58. That's the
58,
most recent
okay.
roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So who got the worst out of that one then? Oh no, somebody got 100 there.
Yeah, I was just saying that
Yeah, it did. You did get 100.
Lex rolled twice.
Okay.
So taking the first one or the
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it go either.
No.
But it does have 100 in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's ignore both of those and start again. Roll it now and see what you get, because we don't
Okay.
know what.
Which one went first?
83.
83. Okay.
Which sneaks under your 88 and your 97.
Hang on, it doesn't sneak under my 97. Oh, sorry, it does sneak under my 97.
Yeah,
though. That's
that's
the
what I'm
worst
saying.
one.
Okay. Jacob, you're hiding behind some crates, though, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The mad, insane policeman, young police officer, spins round and fires 2 shots off at the one shot off at you. Well, in your direction, but it just smacks into one of the drums that are next to you. That's the end of that. Okay. That's the thing. Everybody's acted this round now, except for the only things that haven't acted are the zombies. Okay, the one that
Is
got.
Paul unconscious then?
No, he sat down. He hasn't acted yet either, has he?
No.
Okay, he's going to fire. Ooh.
Oh.
He's firing at the last one that's coming out of the alcove. Trying to aim at the head, so he gets a penalty die for that. But he still hits anyway.
Good news, he didn't go unconscious. That's quite skilled with the gun.
27. Okay, it's just a normal hit. That normal damage. Okay, that thing has been hit in the head, but it's still standing, still lurching forward. Which means it's just them left to go now. So the one that you've got in a hold, it tries to wriggle its head round and bite you as you're holding it. It gets a penalty die because of the fact you've got it in a hold. What you're going to do with this? You can fight back.
I will smash it in the face with my butt end of my gun.
Okay, so I'm going to get it's a fail anyway without rolling the penalty die.
You could roll could get a 99. Not sure what difference that makes.
If you both fail, then nothing happens. It's a level of success that matters. Yeah, so that's a fail.
Roll.
Yeah.
That is a hard success.
Okay, so you can actually hit it with your pistol. I can't remember what we said the damage was last time. Was it 1d6?
Hang on, I'll double check. It was the my blackjack, wasn't it?
The blackjack was 1d8, so I think I said 1d6 plus the damage bonus. I think I remember saying last time. Yeah.
Okay, so that is 2d6.
Oh, blimey.
9.
Okay, you
Significantly better than shooting. Amazing.
Double-barreled fist.
Yeah, well, you smash the butt of your gun into into the top of its head as it's trying to bite you, and the whole of its head just caves in. And the kind of the jaw almost like drops off. But yeah, it just stops moving.
I am reminded of Game of Thrones when the mountain squishes the skull.
So there is only now one of these things left.
Another quick question.
Mhm.
Stanton's not bleeding out, is he? Just unconscious and stable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the only one that's in range of this current zombie is actually it's either going to be Paul or Lex that it goes for. So yeah, it's a luck off again because it's not intelligent, so it can't make decisions. It is just on luck. So Paul gets 47.
Lex gets 8.
Okay, it attacks Paul then, who's now stood up. This isn't the same round that Paul got hit, is it? No, it must have been last round,
No.
obviously.
Yeah,
So he's stood up, so he's going to fight back. So the zombie fails with its attack. Paul tries to bludgeon it again with his pistol. The fight back, which is a success. He smacks it with the revolver. D6 plus D4. 9 damage. It's actually better with guns to actually hit them with it, isn't it? If you've got a decent damage bonus.
Yeah.
9, okay.
This one had already taken a hit, hadn't it?
Yeah, I'm just having a look to see what. Yeah, it has. Okay, no, that caves its head into. Paul just sways slightly and with almost out of desperation, obviously with a major wound. Swings and connects solidly with the butt end of his pistol, and the thing just collapses. And Paul collapses too.
I'm going to rush over to Stanton and grab his first aid kit and try and administer some first aid.
I'm trying to avoid being shot by the insane policeman.
I was about to say the policeman is still on the loose, as it were.
Yeah, I will. Is it him now? It's not.
No, he's already had his. So it's right back to the beginning now. It's Douglas.
Okay, I will try and disarm him.
Okay, that's a fighting maneuver to do that.
Ooh.
So what you need to do is you need to roll your brawl roll.
Mm-hmm.
And he rolls his, and if we'll see what happens. If you beat him, then you will perform the maneuver.
That's great. Oh no! Oh, that's a success. It's regular success.
Regular success.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fail. Okay, so yeah, you lunge towards him, smack the gun out of his grasp, and it goes skittering across the flagstones. And you see like his face is red with anger, and his eyes are wide, and he gnashes his teeth. He's gnashing his teeth so much that his mouth and tongue are bleeding. His eyes are just completely, and he now lunges towards you with melee attacks with his fists, basically. But before that can happen, Jacob, you're behind the crates. You see this happen. You see the gun get knocked from his grasp, but it's not enough to. Whatever mania has overcome, this young officer continues.
I'm gonna. Well, in that case, I'm gonna help Douglas. I'll launch myself for what it's worth at the top and try and floor him.
So you're going to try and just tackle him to the ground. Is that what you're going to try and do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Make a brawl roll then. You emerge from behind the crates. Oh, it's a shame that's not the other way around.
That's a fail.
Okay. It's a fail, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And he tries to fight back when he sees you coming, but he swings a punch at you as you try and. But he misses as well. So you're standing in front of him now. You're close enough to see his manic features. Jacob's finished, so we're now on Stanton's not doing anything. Lex.
I will jump up and attempt to knock the policeman out.
Okay.
By pinning him.
By what? Punching him.
Pinning him, yeah.
Oh, chinning him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just going to chin him, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So aim for the knockout button. And I have horrendously missed.
Oh dear.
Okay, you swing you come charging across the room with a massively wound up haymaker that then completely misses. And you flies past him. He's going to try and fight back as you do that.
Ooh.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Yes. So he takes advantage of you being massively off balance.
Sucker punch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pound him next round.
Now you're going to try and kill him, aren't you?
Pretty much.
So that's actually an extreme success. So that's maximum damage. So oh god. You take 7. Oh no, you can't do that. It's not a critical because it's his fight back, and you can only do criticals on your attack.
Good.
So
that's lucky.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, remember that for the future, everybody, because that's something that's easy to forget. You can only get an extreme success critical on your attack, not on a fight back.
Okay.
Because you only get 1 moment in the sun in every round. 1d3 plus 1d4. So there's the d4.
Let's start.
I'm going to do it anyway. D3.
Oh,
unbelievable! Oh no, gosh.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so I'll just take the maximum damage anyway, shall I?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, but you'd be safer than knowledge it wasn't a critical.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Some comfort that is.
7, isn't it?
Right. That is going to be. I'm going to need to ask you to make a Constitution roll on that basis. Then, Lex, having taken more than half your hit points.
I have succeeded my constitution.
Okay, but you are knocked to the ground, unfortunately, as a result of that.
That's okay. I can shoot from here.
But you're not unconscious. Okay. So we've now got. That's everybody else is out of this now. So it's Douglas. It's you again now.
okay. I'll try and punch out the. Actually, I'm going to try and pin him down.
Hold on a second before I need to check. I need to roll this. Okay. Before you do anything, suddenly something happens to his face, and all the taut muscles that are contorted with anger, malignance, suddenly relax. And he just kind of collapses to the ground as the mania seems to subside. He's just lying there, groaning now.
Okay. I'll put his own cuffs on him.
Okay.
And if Jacob's going to go and check
Yeah.
Stanton, I will go and check on Paul.
Okay. Paul is conscious, but he's barely conscious.
Okay.
I'm okay. He says, I'm okay, Blake. What the hell were they? Why did you bring us here? What have you done?
Oh, it's what we're trying to stop, not what we've done. We can talk about this later. We need to get you to a hospital.
Yeah, he doesn't argue with that.
Right. How's Lex looking?
Oh, Lex is okay. Yeah, he drags himself to his feet. Obviously, he's got quite a heavy punch to the jaw. Like it's really sore.
Yeah, my head's ringing a bit, but I'll be fine. How's Stanton?
Bad.
Yeah, I'll see if I can administer some first aid to Stanton.
Lex, can you get upstairs and phone for a meat wagon?
Yep.
I will, before they get here, go and check in the alcove and see what's in that chest under the skin.
Okay, you go into the alcove, which smells absolutely vile. You see you're going to open the chest?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a mask, which looks almost identical to the one that you saw in Quarnes. It's a headdress with a kind of horrible red mummified tongue attached to it. This is actually, there's also a long feathered shawl of shimmering colour, like some sort of robe, which is made of different feathers, maybe birds that maybe like flamingos or kingfishers, that sort of thing. So possibly of African origin.
Mm-hmm.
There are some lion's claws, which are fixed to glove-like garments so that they can be worn.
Handy for disemboweling people.
With a burnished copper bowl etched with unrecognisable runes and signs. There's a carved sceptre, which is made of wood. It has strange markings inset in it. There's a headband of grey metal with the various weird character scratch into the surface.
Is there any marks on the copper bowl, or was it just?
No, it's a burnished copper bowl etched. Yeah, so it's etched with unrecognisable runes and signs. Sorry. Okay. A very modern-looking chronometer, and what looks to be a cash box, which is locked.
Cash box. Okay, I'm not going to bother. Okay, I'll take all these things. I'll I'll go and quickly grab Danton's satchel, put everything that will fit in there. Anything else, I'll see if I can find a bag upstairs to wrap. Has the chronometer got any engravings on it on the back?
Yes, I'll tell you what. We'll go through the detail of this because it's 11:15 now. So you probably want to look at all these things in a little bit more detail, probably.
Yes, definitely, but possibly not down here.
Yeah.
But yes. All right. At the moment, we just need to get people to hospital and seal this place up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll deal with the aftermath next time.
Please do join us next week, where we take Stanton to the hospital and hope he's okay. The horrors of the Juju house have been uncovered, but there's still much to unpack. See you next time on Steady Rolling Man Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep.